Okay, I just thought I'd give you a little talk through of the Blackboard site for the MSc dissertation. So whilst you're preparing to meet your supervisor and throughout your time of studying for your dissertation, keep coming back to the Blackboard site and make sure you use the resources. So this Blackboard site is used by students at the university who attend face-to-face and also by students who are studying using the online format. So what we make sure that we do on the MSc Dementia is keep a track of what the students face-to-face are receiving and make sure we signpost or provide to you the same information. So as you'll see here under the announcements that the students who are taught face-to-face have a Welcome to the Dissertation module workshop. What you have instead are these 2 recordings from me and the guidance sheet where I've done the spreadsheet of all the activities that you need to undertake. Where the students who come face-to-face fill in a form to say about their dissertation ideas, we've engaged in email discussion or maybe a telephone or a collaborate discussion to get that information. So it's a slightly different approach, but you get the same. So you get the same support regardless of whether you're face-to-face or online. So you'll see here a message, a recent message talking about the learning materials that are available. So we'll have a look at those shortly. So you will find under the dissertation material there's an option A and an option B. Option A is a systematised review of the literature, which is what we strongly recommend that you do as full-time students. And so this resource here, learning materials, library resources, preparation for finding the evidence, is a really useful section for you to look at. So this is some information put together by our librarians. So you may just need a quick refresher, hopefully not too much of a refresher on how to use the library resources. So have a look at that. And then Maria Grant, who's the dissertation programme leader, has some PowerPoint slides here for you on the dissertation. So early on in this, what I talked about is your first stage of your dissertation. You really would benefit from reading these slides. So I'll just open these for you, then you can see what they look like. You'll notice there are notes pages underneath. I think there are about 50 slides here which talk you through the process of searching through the literature, the process of, you know, at the moment you're defining your topic, you need to identify your search terms and see how that works out in terms of actually using the databases. So there's information under each of those headings. So I strongly recommend that you read through this. It's got your different frameworks for constructing your search question. So all of this needs to be in the account in major section 1 of how you have searched for the literature. So if you see there, they're going, you know, how do you combine the terms? We have Boolean logic, which you can read about in the evidence-based practice textbooks, about using the term and or, about how to link your key terms. So just plenty of information here for you to be reading through. There are more resources here to help you for your search strategy, so a video and a worksheet. There's a video here for you to watch on creating a search strategy, more on database searching. So there's plenty of resources, and you really need to put some time away in the first few weeks. Well, I was going to say first few weeks, in the first week really of this dissertation, to just think about how are you going to search the databases. So still on the announcements page, if you scroll right down, you'll find some information on critical appraisal resources from Professor Alison Brettle. So there are some YouTube links that you could cut and paste and watch on how to critically appraise the evidence that you've located. Under module information, you'll find the actual requirements of the dissertation. So the dissertation topic form, we don't need to do that at this moment in time. We've agreed your dissertation topics. The level 7 descriptors are probably worth looking at. They're the same descriptors that we use for assessing all of your assignments to date. So it's exactly the same framework. So the workshop programme, that's more for people who are coming to the university, but you'll see there that a lot of the topics are what's covered in the online lectures that are posted on here for you. And if you keep scrolling down, which always seems an odd place to me for it to be found, is option A, the systematic review, and this is really important. So this is your absolute guidance sheet for what needs to be in your dissertation. So whilst I've done the guidance sheet for you with what you need to be doing and when you need to send the work to your supervisor, this guidance sheet is exactly what you need to be writing in your dissertation. So it needs to be 15,000 words. It's level 7. It needs to be the Harvard referencing system. So these different sections, the abstract tells you what you need to write and what we'll be looking for when we mark it. I would write the abstract at the end because really that's just an overview of the dissertation. I've indicated in your guidance sheet on what needs to be done by when, that your introduction, you need to crack on with getting that written now. And then your methods section, this is where in the other lecture I've highlighted that you identify your search strategy that you use and also how you have undertaken the appraisal, not the findings of the appraisal, but how you've undertaken the appraisal. Your findings chapter is either in 1 or 2 parts, either it's 1 or 2 chapters or 1 chapter with 2 parts. So the first part talks about the methodological issues of the papers, and then the second part talks about the findings in terms of the findings of the papers and how you bring those together under thematic headings. Then your discussion chapter, what can you say about the evidence and how does it relate to some of the issues that you highlighted in your introduction, and how can you answer all of these points listed. You then have your conclusions, your references and your appendices. So this page is the most crucial page and you need to always look at this when you're planning your work. Further down is option B, which is the research project, and we do find on this programme, especially the full-time, it's really difficult to get a project done within the short time frame that you have on the full-time programme. And then the ethics issues when you're doing a study related to dementia can be very problematic at master's level, and these type of studies are more often undertaken as a PhD study, so you can always come back and do your PhD. So then you have your learning materials. So there are different slides, but remember these will talk about option A and option B. There are some past examples of sample dissertations, but make sure that you look at the option A type of dissertation, that are the systematic reviews of the literature. Plenty of reading here and slides, so thinking, reading and writing critically. The PowerPoint, that would be a good PowerPoint for you to read in this early stage, so that you're matching your reading and reflection on your process for your dissertation in a similar way to the students who are attending in class. So you'll see here there's the PowerPoint on thinking and reading, writing critically. So we'll just open this. So I strongly recommend that you familiarise yourself with the content of these slides. Obviously you've been developing your skills of thinking, reading and writing critically throughout the programme. We just now need you to really bring these together in your dissertation. There's some evaluation tools here for mixed methods, quantitative and qualitative studies, and then your CASP tools here. So there's Crombie's standard appraisal questions, So it's up to you which you use. These evaluation tools here, we often call them the healthcare practice research and development tools. That was a unit here at the university, and these were some tools that they developed, and they have the reference for those incorporated in the handouts there. So choose your tools and just check with your supervisor that you've chosen the most appropriate appraisal tools. So continuing to scroll down, a nice little chat there from Angie, one of our lecturers here at the university who did her master's dissertation a few years ago. More information on finding the evidence from our librarian colleagues, and then a really good lecture here. It's quite long, nearly an hour and a half, from Professor Alison Brettle, and this is really useful for students doing the option A, so I strongly recommend that you familiarise yourself with the content of that. As your online students, you'll be meeting your supervisor in Collaborate Ultra, and I know my classroom's already set up, so if you go onto Collaborate Ultra, there will be my classroom, but by the time you come to meet with your supervisors, there'll also be the individual classrooms where you can meet your supervisor. So if you were my student, you would click on here, and then you would join the session. And that's just the same way as you've joined the Collaborate sessions as we've gone through your programme. What is really useful is if you send your most recent work to your supervisor a few days before your meeting, and then that means that you can make the optimal use of your supervision time. So I hope you find that useful, and I'll be checking in with you again later in your dissertation journey.